This is the Ford Mustang Mach-E, Ford's first fully electric mass market SUV. Now there's a lot to learn here, but I'll try not to batter you with every single fact and figure because we could be here for days, but hopefully by the end of this video you should be slightly better acquainted with the Mach-E. And I will get onto the name in a little bit because I suppose the Mustang name might be making you quite mad, but for now let's just focus on what powers the Mach-E. Now there are two battery sizes in the Mustang Mach-E. The first is a 75.7 kilowatt hour battery pack, the second is a 98.8 kilowatt hour battery pack. They're both made of lithium ion cells, and all of those cells, those packs, are located between the front and the rear axle. Keeps the weight nice and central, keeps the centre of gravity nice and low. Like the V8 Mustang, the Mach-E is rear-wheel drive, but unlike the V8 Mustang, you can also get it with all-wheel drive. Now, whether or not it's rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive is dictated by how much money you want to pay, and that in turn affects the range you'll get and the power. Now, forgive me, I would love to be able to remember every single fact and figure, but I can't, so bear with me. For the rear-wheel drive car with the small battery, you should be able to drive about 284 miles. With the big battery, you'll get 373 miles. So that sounds pretty decent. For the all-wheel drive car with a small battery, you'll get 261 miles. And with the big battery all-wheel drive, you'll get 335 miles. Now, I don't know about you, but 370-ish miles for an electric car sounds pretty respectable. Quite a few electric cars do 150 miles, and that's what puts people off. So for 370 miles, that'd be fantastic. If it can actually do it. We don't know yet, have to drive it first. But what about power? What about torque, the measuring sticks that every car with a Mustang badge is stacked up against? Well, for the rear-wheel drive car, you get 258 PS, that's on the smaller battery. With the big battery, you get 285 PS. With the all-wheel drive car, small battery, you get 258 PS, but with the all-wheel drive car and the big battery, there's a jump up to 337 PS. Torque, 415 Newton meters for the rear-wheel drive car, 656 Newton meters for the all-wheel drive car. Performance? Well, the rear-wheel drive cars, they should be able to crack 62 miles an hour in under 8 seconds. The all-wheel drive cars should crack 62 miles an hour in sub 7 seconds. But I will let you into a little secret. There will be a performance Mach-E, because in 2021, Ford will launch the Mach-E GT. It'll have the bigger battery pack, it'll be all-wheel drive, and it'll have 465 PS and 835 Newton meters of torque. 835, that's 65 Newton meters more than a Ferrari F8 Tributo. That's a lot of torque. You can also get Magna-Ride, the same electronic dampers that you get on the Mustang, and you'll also get Brembo aluminium brake calipers, so it will be quite an interesting vehicle, but we've got another year and a bit to wait. How long will it take to charge? Well, if you plug it into a standard plug, it'll take an hour to charge the equivalent of 9 miles, which isn't exactly great, but with the right equipment, things happen much more quickly. If you get a Ford wall box installed at your house, you'll get 38 miles of charge for every hour of charge time, which is quite a bit better than 9 miles of range for every hour of charge time with a normal plug. If you plug it into a 150 kilowatt fast charger, then you're really talking. Then you'll get 57 miles of range in 10 minutes. And you go from 10% charge to 80% charge in approximately 38 minutes. You still with me? How much will it cost? Well, Ford reckons that for the rear-wheel drive cars, it'll cost around £40,000. They haven't confirmed everything yet. And for the all-wheel drive cars, it'll cost about £46,000. The Mach-E GT, when that arrives in 2021, that'll be somewhere north of £50,000. That's it for the technical stuff for now, but whilst we're here, we might as well have a look inside. And first things first, you notice this massive 15.5-inch central navigation screen and infotainment screen. It does pretty much everything, and it dominates the interior. The other thing you notice is the Mustang badge. There are no fewer than 10 Mustang badges dotted around all over the place, on the wheels, under the bonnet, on the door sills as well. In here there are Mustang badges dotted around anywhere. I haven't actually spotted a Ford badge. It is a Ford, but I'm trying to play up the Mustang thing pretty heavily. Everything else feels fairly traditional Ford, really. The buttons on the steering wheel feel very Ford, indicators, start button and so on. It just feels like a Ford. You wouldn't know to get in that this is an electric powertrain. The only thing that you notice that's really different is that central touchscreen, and also the fact that there are no dials. There's another little screen just ahead of you. There are 3 drive modes. There's Whisper, Engage and Unbridled, and to me they sound a bit like perfumes really, but what they do is change the dynamics of the car and also change the sound. Ford says that changing the sound creates an authentic all-electric experience. I don't really know what an authentic all-electric experience is. To me, it's just the silence of an electric car. That's what I find quite cool about driving an electric car. So what noises this will actually make on the move, I don't know, and I'm quite intrigued by, I'm going to be honest. And there are 2 boots. There's one obviously at the back, and there's a smaller frunk at the front. And also, this car can be updated remotely, kind of like a Tesla. So you can update the infotainment system and also the car's performance completely remotely. Finally, let's talk about the name, Mustang. When I first heard it was going to have a Mustang badge on it, I'm going to be honest, I spat my tea out, because I thought, why on earth would Ford call their new electric SUV Mustang? The Mustang name you associate with muscle cars, cars that can do huge burnouts and brake stands, not a slightly high-riding family bus that's electric powered. However, over time, the more I've thought about it, the more it makes sense really. The name Mustang is a very familiar name. It's been around for decades. So if you're bringing out a new electric car when there are plenty of electric cars around, a new SUV when frankly there are far too many SUVs around, then you need something to grab people's attention. And the Mustang name does that. Yes, you might annoy a few petrol heads, and yes, people might get confused when one of these turns up to a Mustang meet, but if you want to grab someone's attention, using the Mustang name works. So what do you think of the new Mustang Mach-E? Do you really like it? Did you spit out your tea like me when you heard that it was called Mustang? Let us know in the comments below.